Chairman, did you and the SEC allow the FTX fraud to happen?
The crypto field is often one that is commingling and bundling services, as I said earlier, and often also offshore. It is rife with abuses and fraud. It also takes time to thoughtfully and by the book and by the law build, investigate, and bring actions. There's a public figure, on average, about 23 months from start to either settlement or bringing an action at the SEC. We bring actions over the course of the last 5 years on 150 companies or
the
tokens.
cow was out the barn. I mean, I follow your remarks, Mr. Chairman, because I have great respect for you, and you've said repeatedly before FTX blew up that the SEC has the authority to regulate cryptocurrency. Now, here you have this company, FTX, run by a young man who has more zeal than wisdom. He prides himself looking like the fourth runner-up in a John Belushi Lookalike contest. He prides himself on being underdressed and overhead, reeks with arrogance. You could have sent down one investigator from the FTC with an ego like Mr. Bankman-Fried and said, I want to send someone down from the SEC and let them just watch you for a day. And he probably would have welcomed you in. I mean, his dad is a chaired professor at Stanford Law School. Where was Stanford? But where was the SEC? I mean, this was an accident waiting to happen. And I don't understand where the SEC was.
So, sir, I would say that the whole field has hurt more Americans than it should.
Yeah, but I'm talking about FTX. I mean, we look back at FTX. I mean, Senator Durbin made this point. And we have this elaborate, complex regulatory machinery, the SEC, which I support, which is supposed to guarantee transparency and combat fraud. And any fair-minded person has to look at FTX and Mr. Bankman-Fried and these kids and go, what in God's, where was everybody? Where was the SEC?
And I would say where we were is my predecessor, and also under my honor to be chair, we've brought 140 or 150 actions. There are 15 to 20,000 tokens, and there are dozens of platforms.
But it was after the fact, Gary. I mean, here's this young man. He did everything but buy Mount Rushmore. Weren't you all curious? Where's this guy getting this money?
I would say that in the summer of 2021, when we Wells noticed a very large crypto exchange in the U.S., they went on Twitter and said that we were sketchy. When we subpoenaed Do Kwon, this is all public, so I can say it. When we gave him a subpoena, he fought us in the district court. He fought us in the appellate court.
But I'm not talking about how many lawyers can dance on the head of a pin. I'm talking about why didn't you send somebody down? I guarantee you, with his ego, Mr. Bankman-Fried would have welcomed you. Okay, he probably would have asked you to bring a film crew. You just send an investigator down, spend a half a day with these young people, come back, and go get an injunction. Shut them down until they can answer some very basic, fundamental questions. Like, for example, were they commingling funds? Why didn't we do that? Why didn't you do that? That's what we pay you folks to do.
Well, again,
I get all the Wells letter and all that. We've got tens of thousands of people that lost a lot of money, and they look at this young man and they go, How did the regulatory authorities allow this guy to function? I mean, his Secret Service name is Butthead. That's how bad he is. Where was the SEC?
And again, sir, I can't speak to one enforcement matter like that, but let me just broadly say this whole field, the whole crypto field, is built on models that we wouldn't allow in traditional securities markets of commingling. The commingling that you're mentioning.
Then why did you allow FTX?
Vigorously We investigate by the book. You, I'm sure, and the American public want us to follow the facts, follow the law, properly give people subpoenas. They get lawyered up. They give us reply. They do effectively burn clock, and on average,
You could have gotten an injunction, half a day.